This is part 4 of 4 on the topic, Money and the Federal Reserve System. Question: what will it take to go back on the gold standard? This is a complex question, and it depends on exactly what the situation is when that decision is made. If the currency is completely destroyed, as in the Zimbabwe dollar, you will probably need to develop a new currency completely divorced from the dollar. If you decide in the next few years to go on the gold standard, the dollar can probably be saved, but you would have to go on a partial gold standard. To see how that was done in the past, we need to study what was done in the 1870s to phase out greenbacks. It could also involve operating with two currencies. There are many complications involved, some of which are discussed in Presidential Diary 2. Simply because something is difficult does not mean it should be delayed. Question: what should Congress do regarding the upcoming debt ceiling negotiations? Congress is stuck. If they agree to a debt ceiling hike, the problems will continue unabated. If they do not agree to a hike, the government will shut down. Since shutting down the government will cause tremendous short-run problems and cause congressmen to not be reelected, they will probably cave in as they always have. Ultimately, the matter is immaterial. The Fed can always get money to the Treasury through various subterfuges to keep the economy running without creating any debt. One way the Fed can do this is by the Treasury creating a $1 trillion coin in exchange for $1 trillion in funds, as suggested by at least one left-wing economic lunatic. There are various other more subtle methods the Fed and Treasury can concoct to get money, so in the end, the debt ceiling becomes meaningless. The key is not Congress, but the Fed. The Fed must stop funding deficit spending since it is inflationary. Question: what did you mean when you said that all the debt purchased by the federal government is worthless? The net effect of this activity is that the Fed has sent money to the Treasury as a gift. It is dressed up with a bunch of paperwork to make it appear that this is all legitimate borrowing, but it is actually money that has been printed and spent and has gone to fuel inflation. None of it will be paid back with real value. It is like the candy store. The owner bought his own candy and ate it, and nothing is left but a bunch of meaningless paperwork. Question: if you eliminate the Fed, what do you replace it with? To quote Thomas Sowell, quote, when you cut out a cancer, what do you replace it with? Unquote. Well, actually, the answer is free banking. Almost every country in the world has a central bank, and yet central banks are the cause of most of the economic difficulties in the world. In free banking, you have no central bank. The Swiss do not use a central bank, and I believe the Swiss are highly regarded insofar as banking is concerned. The evils of a central bank greatly outweigh the evils of free banking. Some of the evils of free banking experienced in the U.S. can be eliminated by putting in place certain safeguards that were not available prior to 1913. Remember, when it comes to money, there is no perfect system. Some systems are better than others, however. A gold-backed system is better than fiat money, and free banking is better than having a central bank. Question: why doesn't the government see the danger and address these problems? I love that question. All branches of the federal government are dominated by socialists. Socialists hate capitalism and free markets and believe they are the cause of all the suffering in the world. They truly believe that. For that reason, they want to get rid of free markets and control the economy from one central government location, a system that we know has always failed. Undeterred, socialists work for the day when free market economies collapse so they can demagogue capitalism and install their preferred system. They will never give up central control, and if the nation's economy collapses as a result, so much the better. The Federal Reserve and the money supply are a big part of their scheme, and they will never allow them to be dismantled. This is the end of part 4 of 4.